All right, boys are back in town. Jack here, Tim here. State of the franchise number six. Um, and we got our boy Tim. Definitely a big one for him. Um, so yeah, Tim, anything to say?
Not much. Let's get into it, brother.
Let's do it. All right, so we get the BDB CEO. I didn't want to cut you off. This is your history. Let you take this.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the BDB CEO, three titles, first team to 100 wins, only one division title, playoff record 11-7, most of all time, highest winning percentage in the playoffs of all time, 9-5 last year.
Yeah, one thing I want to lay on, no playoff wins since your championship in 2021. Are you starting to feel the heat? Are you starting to feel the heat a little bit? A few years ago, that playoff record, I think, was 11-5 coming off the championship, and now it's starting to slowly creep closer to 500. Are you starting to feel the pressure to win this year?
No, can't win them all. I
Fair.
haven't had the best rosters to make some noise in the playoffs, but I think that we're getting back to it.
Yeah, I'd say it's more a testament to your ability to win with any type of roster, even making the playoffs some of these years.
I don't know how to take that, but okay.
King of the backhanded compliments all of a
Yeah, there he
sudden.
is. There he is.
All right, let's dive into your running backs.
All right, so starting off with Bijan Robinson, RB4 last year, 2 years left on the contract. We both have him as a blue chip player, and then Caleb Johnson, presumed three overall pick. We are a little split on this. I have him as green, you have him as a pink. I think we're both more or less in the same boat. And then into a lot of question marks. I think these three guys are kind of bundled up. So Isaiah Pacheco, Najee
Mm.
Harris, Javonte Williams, all 1 year left on the contract. Starters for now, although Najee, he might not, I don't know, his eye, he might not see the field as much. And
Yeah, I think that's tough with Najee. I feel like when they signed him, they were fully expecting him to start the season and it to be like a 1-2 punch, which I mean definitely still can be, but missing basically all training camp up until this point is it's a little bit tough to overcome sometimes. I feel like you gotta feel good with Pacheco from what I've seen. Throughout Chiefs camp. Looks like he's going to be their guy to start the year. And I don't know that injury last year, he probably came back a little too quick, and you could tell he was a little slow. Maybe a full off season. He gets back his legs back underneath him, and I mean, I would write Javonte off if it wasn't for it being Dallas's backfield.
I would too.
They would just have nothing else. I know they Jaden Blue's kind of got some things in camp. I know they got Miles Sanders there, but. It's really not much, but I think your hope is Caleb can step into that RB2 role for you, and then one of these three guys can step up and be like just like a solid RB3, maybe your RB2 as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah, if you want to kind of touch more on that.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Isaiah Pacheco, seventh round pick. I don't know what happens after this year.
Hmm.
And if he resigns with Kansas City or if he goes somewhere else, I think if he goes anywhere else, he's in a committee.
Yep.
And I don't know that I necessarily believe in the talent either. Like, I don't think that he has great vision and he doesn't wow me when I watch him.
Yeah, that first like year when he kind of popped in the scene year and a half, you could tell he just ran the ball hard, which can be half the battle sometimes, but it gets to the point where maybe you're running a little too hard and you're kind of leaving yourself susceptible to some of these injuries as well. And yeah, I agree with you. It feels like Kansas City, even when he came back, like kind of expected him to take over. I know we mentioned that he was coming back from injury, but the fact he couldn't really beat out Kareem Hunt for the starting role, like Kareem Hunt continued to get 15, 20 touches each week after Pacheco came back was kind of alarming for
Yeah,
Pacheco owners. But you never know behind the scenes. Maybe he was still feeling that injury and full off season. You never know.
yeah. And then the two younger guys on the team, so Braylon Allen and Tyler Algier. Um, let's say two shots in the dark here. We'll see what happens. I think Braylon Allen is going to carve out like a maybe not a 50-50, but like a 60-40 split. I know I was saying this
Mhm.
early last year, um,
Yep.
but he's made a lot of plays at camp, and even in that first preseason game, he looked good. So I am kind
Yeah.
of excited to see what happens there and what happens with Brees after this year and where he goes.
Yeah, I saw he was already starting to talk about the contracts that James Cook and Kyron Williams got talking about Brees Hall. So I mean, it's crazy that Braylon Allen's only 21 years old, and I know he's got a lot of running back mileage on him, but through college and all the touches he got in the collegiate level, but still, he looks like he can be someone that can take over and get you 20 touches a game. So I agree with you. Kind of weigh it out. Maybe he ends up being in Montgomery in that Aaron Glenn system. I know he's defensive coach, but maybe he brings that type of style to New York from Detroit, where it's that 1-2 punch. So yeah, I would expect Braylon Allen obviously to have a little bit more of a role this year and further going forward. I
Yep.
like Braylon Allen a lot. That's a good hold for you there.
All right, wide receivers.
Sure.
All right, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so you got a good little three crop here. You got your two studs with Brown and AJ, Brown and AJ, Drake and AJ. We both see Drake London as a purple, just like a young bull who has a chance to become a blue chipper. I think even the way that him and Penix were connecting last season, he could even be a blue chipper by the end of this year. Still just 24 years old. AJ Brown, I still have as a top 10 receiver, especially talent wise. I mean, I know it's tough in that offense. Maybe they're not spreading the ball out as much, but I don't know. I think he's gonna start asking for his cat. He's gonna continue to ask for his targets, and I think at some point they're gonna make a point to feed him throughout the season and kind of show that he is that top 10 talent. And then I love Rashee Rice too. I know they said his hearing is until end of September, so. Not entirely sure what that means. If like the suspension might not even happen until the season after this year, or it'll happen mid-season, or what. Um, but I think he was averaging probably like 12 to 15 points a game before his injury last year, and I expect him to kind of continue that whenever he does play and be Mahomes' safety blanket. But yeah, I'll let you touch on those three bowls before I get into the next three.
Yeah, I think you and I are in the same camp on Rasheed Rice that if he doesn't get injured last year, I think he was in for like a monster year. And maybe it's not a top 10 season, but I think that he was right there, finishing as like 11 or 12 or in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes just trusted him. It seemed like like Kelsey was always the guy for him. And then last year, it was like Rashee Rice was running all those inside routes and just being
Yeah.
Mahomes' safety blanket. Um, so it was pretty eye-opening. It looks like he was 16th in points per game last season. But again, only 4 games played. So
And I think that fourth game, he had no
you
points.
got running right down, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Um, But yeah, if you want to continue with the other, yeah, he did actually. Sorry, he had 0 points. So he had 14, 16, and 23 points over the first 3 weeks. So you could pull that fourth one out of there.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
yeah, go ahead.
next guys here. So rookies last year, Keon Coleman and Ricky Pearsall. I have them both as pinks. You have Coleman as a pink and Pearsall as a yellow. Um, I guess why Ricky Pearsall as a yellow?
I think the only reason I would consider him a pink is just because Ayuk's out and Debo's gone, and it's almost like someone needs to get targets on that team. I didn't fully see it last year when he was on the field as a actual talent. I think when Ayuk comes back, he's going to take a back seat, and I just can't see him being a top 20 guy. I could see him being in that like 25, 30 range, maybe being a nice wide receiver too, but something's holding me back from seeing him as an actual top 20 guy at the position.
It's some bias probably because he's on my team, but I think he finished last year pretty strong. I think the last two games he had like two really solid outings.
Again, I expect this year to be maybe his best year, honestly, with the receivers out, and I think that was kind of the case last year too. Once Ayuk went down, and maybe Jennings missed a game or two, or maybe it was just them two on the outside. Um, I would expect this year to be maybe his best year, close to 1,000 yards, and then maybe kind of fall off after that would be my guess.
Wow.
Maybe a hot take.
Yeah, that feels like a hot take. Does this change your mind any at all? Week 17, Detroit wide receiver 8, 24.7 points. Week 18 at Arizona, 15.9 points. Wide receiver 14, 18 targets.
I would have to see who else is playing. 18 targets might sum it up for me. There might not have been anyone else really playing. They hate 18 targets if someone's got to make the catches, and he was the one. I feel like they were in the rumors all year with McLaurin and even DK to an extent. So they're looking to add another receiver as well on top of Ayuk and Pearsall. So um, I get it. I think he's gonna have some big games this year. I just don't see him as a long-term asset.
Okay, fair enough.
But Keon Coleman, that's someone I'd be high on. 22 years old still. He flashed a few times his first year. Maybe not as much as you want to see him take over, but that offense is just a little weird how they spread the ball around and it could be one
Yeah.
guy one week and then fully game plan for another guy the next week.
I feel like this is the make or break here for Keon Coleman. If he doesn't hit this year, I think he's cooked.
Yeah, he's got to carve out a role somehow. Like same thing. I mean, I know they brought in like Josh Palmer, but they really don't have a ton of pass catchers on their roster. So you figure, I mean, Shakir's a solid player, Kincaid's an okay player, but you expect him to maybe take a step forward and play that role. But again, he was 21 going into camp last year. He's a young kid, so maybe 22 and extra year under his belt. I could see him taking that next step.
All right, anything else you want to hit on?
I'm all set on talking about Christian Watson anymore, unless you want to say something about him.
No, I'm all set. You made your point like two drafts ago and you said I should have never kept him. So appreciate that.
Wait, I think you had another guy. Sorry, I missed on the running backs, but I'll give Rico Dowdle a shout too. I feel like Carolina brought him in, and he could carve out a role there.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, he was solid last year for Dallas, just as like a pass catching back. And I mean, if Chuba ever went down, it's at least at the very least a decent handcuff to have. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess he's not worth mentioning over the other guys, but figured
No.
maybe more of an impact this year versus some of the guys you were thinking have an impact in later years.
Okay. I don't know that I agree with that, but okay. All
I think
right.
over Tyler Algier, I would say would be my
That's
would be my
crazy.
take. But
All right. QBs and tight ends. So QBs, Jaden Daniels obviously played really well last year, quarterback 5 last year.
yep.
Kyler Murray, probably my most disappointing keeper. I kind of hate keeping him more than I hate keeping Christian Watson, to be honest with you. And then Bryce Young, I know I spun my narrative a couple of weeks ago. I do think that he takes a step forward this year. Um,
hmm
so I guess let's stop at the quarterbacks. So we've had Jaden as a blue for both of us. We're split on Kyler Murray, and maybe the yellow is more accurate than the green. And then Bryce, we both have a pink. What do you want to touch on here?
I just think hitting on Jaden was obviously huge last year. He got a stud quarterback. I mean, that you would have been really hurting about Kyler if he didn't get like a Jaden Daniels in the draft. So it almost
Yeah,
kind of softens that blow a ton. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he still finished 10th last year, Kyler. So I guess it's hard not to have him as a green.
it was
But
so
he just feels
inconsistent, though.
disappointing. Yeah, he just feels
Yeah,
disappointing every year where you expect him to take that step and finally having like reaching that rushing upside, but he's not getting any younger, 28 now. How much longer can he really move around like that? We saw it with
yeah,
Wilson later in his career. He kind of turned into more of a pocket passer down the stretch, where before, I mean, he never had the type of athleticism as Kyler did, but he could still scramble and get you like 30, 40 yards a game. Um, so that makes me a little nervous for him. And yeah, I agree with Bryce Young. We've talked about before. He's got some weapons around him now. Um, and he looked good down the stretch. He looked solid. So maybe he kind of progresses on that with is it the second year with Canales? Was he there last year too, or was this the first year with Dave Canales? I think it's the second year because he
I think
was
it's the
the
second year.
Tampa OC a couple of years before he signed there, maybe the quarterbacks coach or something. So yeah, second year in a system, maybe gets a little more comfortable. So yeah, excited to see how he progresses. And
Any
then, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, any concerns with Jaden? Because I do have a little bit of concern with his size. That I'm worried about injury with him more than
Yeah,
anything.
he's definitely skinny, and I felt like there was a few hits he took last year where it's a little unnecessary. I saw that Commanders and Baltimore canceled joint practices for next week. I also think that would have been kind of nice for him to talk to pick Kyle or not Kyler to pick Lamar's ear a little bit. I feel like Lamar later in his career has really figured out how to not take these massive hits.
Yeah,
So I think if he could learn from that, which I think he will. I mean, it's his rookie year. He was trying to play hard, and sometimes you just got to take a sack. Sometimes you got to not fight for the extra 2 or 3 yards, and I think he'll figure that out. But I agree. He's skinny, and he took some shots last year that didn't he have like a chest injury or something that
I
sat him
think it
out
was it was a rib at Carolina, and he missed like a game or two, maybe.
yeah. And so that's just being skinny, like getting a rib. And I mean, I know like obviously some of these guys are jacked and can get break a rib or something, but I don't know. It felt like it wasn't even that big of a hit when he got injured on last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
All right, and then probably your weakest position group. I'm sure you agree if you want to kind of jump into these tight ends.
yeah, definitely worst position group on my team. I was kind of hopeful with Noah Gray that Travis Kelce was going to retire this offseason.
It was a good
Um,
speculative play.
yeah, because I think that if he did retire, we might be looking at like a green player
Yep.
here. Um, and then Cole Kmet, I mean, that's tough when your team takes a tight end in the top 10 picks.
Yeah.
So I don't even know that either of these guys are going to do much for me. And I think I got to address the tight end in the draft here.
Yeah, I think you get some, or we can touch about when we talk about your draft picks. You can probably, if we want to go to the next slide, but I think there's some interesting guys in the second round, third round that you could take some shots on with your tight ends
Yeah.
or with your picks.
All right. So draft picks, obviously 103, and then 106, 202, 206, and 306.
So you sent me a text about Travion in versus Hampton. I don't know if you were saying just try to get in my head about taking Henderson at 2, or if you were saying or you realized that you could probably get Caleb at 1.06. So why not just draft another guy at 1.03 like
No,
Henderson?
no,
You,
listen, bum scares me too much, and me trading away Lad McConkey is a homer pick for me. That like
right.
I just want to have the Steelers backfield, and I'm not going to play that game with Bum because I think
Yep.
Bum does draft a running back here. Um, so it's definitely Caleb Johnson at 103. I was thinking maybe more 106 Henderson,
Okay.
but I think obviously depending on what happens with 104 and 105.
Yeah. I would be surprised. I mean, like you said, I think Bum takes the running back, so I would be surprised if he doesn't take Henderson at this point. But I'm sure you saw the news with Junkins too. It looks like he might be back
Yes.
in the fold. So all of a sudden that just like throws another wrench into the top 7, 8 picks. Um, which I feel great. I think we should both feel great about where at 1.06, 1.07 now it's almost like another running back we can that's in the fold that we can grab there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it seems like you're going running back regardless for the
It
most
did.
part,
Yeah.
Unless Ted's there. Not to give up too much of
Unless
your draft strategy.
yeah, if Tet's there, I think I take him at 106. But I'm also interested in hearing Bum out a little bit more at 106 too.
Mm,
Where there might be a potential for a trade there and me accumulate some assets for next year, but we'll see.
yeah, I guess. I feel like you're pretty deep at running back. And even though I do like your first 5 receivers, it kind of ends after that, right? You only have 5 or 6 receivers on the roster. So adding two
Yeah,
running backs in the first round there, you definitely get running back heavy all of a sudden, which is a good spot to be in because it feels like almost every other team is more wide receiver heavy versus running back heavy. So you can always make a move. And maybe that's what you're referring to with Bum. Maybe you make a stab at one of his big guys. Um, with the pick and maybe some of your assets.
yeah.
Um,
I'll be
but
honest though, I feel like being running back heavy has always been my secret sauce.
oh yeah, oh
Um,
yeah,
where I feel like I've always had a lot of depth, especially in the championship years where I can kind of rotate guys in and out. Obviously, I've had my studs and my
right,
workhorses, but I've also just had like my RB3 and 4 where I can toss in at any given time and feel good about it.
Hmm. Yeah, we all can't get 40 points a game from our top two running backs.
That one championship with Bell and Gurley,
Gurley,
go
Bell
back
and Gurley.
memory lane. They averaged like 60 points between the two of them all 3 weeks in championship.
That was crazy.
All right. So you're the GM. I'll kind of let you take over on this part. I guess what are you doing here?
One thing, sorry, one thing I wanted to mention real quick. All eight guys you kept last year are still on your roster. I just thought that was interesting. And worth noting. But sorry, you can go back to the NFL. I meant to mention that earlier, sorry. Um, what would I do? This is tough because I think you're pretty set, not set, I want to say set, but at running back and receiver. Um, I think you could make a move for a tight end if you don't get one of the guys you want in the second round. I think you kind of just stay pat and attack this year as a top four team. I think I see you as a top 4 or 5 team, and maybe you make a move during the season. I think you just gotta hope a couple of these guys pan out. I'm trying to think if there's like a big trade that you can make, but I mean, you're not trading Bijan. And I don't think the other RBs are almost too speculative to make a trade with.
Yeah.
Um, maybe trade, and then you got London Brown and Rice. If Pearsall or Keon Coleman pop off early, maybe you hold on to one of them and then maybe look to trade AJ Brown for like a running back and plus an asset, or trade like a Rashee Rice for a running back asset and just kind of roll with the other guys. If that's just if like one of your RB2s doesn't pop. Um, I think you either slide up in the second round, maybe package your 2 picks to get one of the top two tight ends and solidify that position. Um, or you just kind of stand pat throughout, make your picks, draft one of those second tier tight ends like the Arroyo in Seattle, the Taylor in New York. I know the Rams like that Terrence Ferguson guy. I think they'll be there in the back half of the second round, maybe even third round.
Yep.
Um, I think you're more of a see how the season folds. A couple teams start to lose and panic, and then maybe you trade some picks or some young guys and try to cash in on a prize and make a championship run.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, let me hear. Do you? I mean, you don't want to give up the secret sauce here, but do you have a kind of idea for your how your season's going to go?
I think more or less the same. Maybe not 9-5, like an 8-6. I don't know. I feel like I've always hovered around like 500 to be honest
Hmm.
with you, and I've had some lucky breaks here. Um, I guess my only question is throw all the Steelers stuff out. 103. Who are you taking
Uh, like just best player available, or for my own team, or oh, for your team, you're saying?
for my team?
Uh, it's a tough one. I want to say Tet. Honestly, I think might be that guy. And then you just like stack the receiver and you can go 4 wide at the receiver position with the extra flex spot. And you kind of just get 15, 20, or hope to get 15 points a game from those 4 guys. Um, but you are looking for that RB2. I think even Steelers aside, I think you still roll Caleb. I think the Steelers
Really?
are confident in him to be their guy. I've seen the stuff with Travion. But you're looking to win right now. Even though you have a youngish team, you are looking to make moves right now, and it feels like Caleb is could be the guy that's most win now for this his rookie season. I mean,
Yeah.
Trevion, he's still gonna be fighting with Ramondre. Junkins is obviously has all his troubles. Even Hampton, they've said that they're gonna rotate regardless. Um, feels like they're pretty committed to Caleb to being their early down back.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that you would add to this?
No, I think you got a team ready to compete. If you show up that tight end position, yeah, you got a deep team, and I think you just kind of see how the first 6, 7 weeks go.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
All right.
All right. Okay. All right.
Shut
That's how
it
we're gonna end
down.
it. All right. Shut it down. Here we go. Yeah. Have a good night. All righty. Yeah.